everyone, it's Andrea Tully from AndreaTully.com, and I am here with Dr. Vaidya, who is a cardiology fellow here at Mayo Clinic, and this is our second video together, so if you haven't seen our first one, you should definitely go watch our video all about cardiology. But I'm here with Vaibhav today because he has tons of information that he can give us about being a foreign medical grad, which is something that I don't know a lot about, and he is here to enlighten us, give us tons of tips about training overseas and coming to the US as a physician and everything along those lines. So hope you enjoy this video. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Vaidya.
Thanks for having me over, Andrea. Yeah, it's great to be on your blog and on your video.
Good. So I know you kind of introduced yourself a little bit on the cardiology video. Why don't you just do a quick introduction again for everybody here?
So I'm from India originally, from Bombay, and that's where I did my medical school. Okay, I went to St. GS Medical College, which is pretty well known back in India, but not as well known in America.
Sure.
So med school in India is 5.5 years. So I did 5.5 years of training there.
Okay.
And then I took 1 year to apply for residency, and then I matched into residency here at Mayo.
Okay.
After doing 3 years of internal medicine residency at Mayo, I matched for fellowship here as well, and now I'm in my second month of fellowship.
That's wonderful. So good. Okay, so let's back up to the beginning of medical training in India. How old are you when you start? Because I get lots of comments and talk to people here on YouTube and on my blog that are in university versus college, and those terms in the US are interchangeable, but it's different.
Yeah.
So explain to us how the whole system works.
All right, so let's talk about the Indian education system and what your timeline is.
Sure.
Okay, so school in India, just regular school, is 10 years instead of 12 years.
Okay.
Okay. So by the time you're out of school, you're probably about 15 years old.
Okay. 15.
Yep. Then we have something called junior college, okay, which is 2 extra years of training. The syllabus that we study during that time is equivalent to what you would study during 11th and 12th grade in America. All right. So you do 2 years of that, and then immediately after that you will enter medical school in India.
Okay.
So there's no undergrad as such. You could call junior college undergrad.
Okay.
Possibly. The experience is kind of similar, but there's no 4 years of undergrad before going to med school.
Okay.
And then med school is directly 5.5 years.
So are you 18 when you start med school normally?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then 5.5 years of medical school.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yep.
So after that, you could train, I mean, you could work in India as a physician.
That's right. So in India, there's no family medicine residency as such. So you're when you finish your med school, you're good to go.
You're ready to go.
Yeah, you're ready to go.
Wow.
Yep. You do a year of what we call internship in India, which is basically a rotatory thing, kind of like transitional year.
Okay.
I think, you know, where you do 3 months in every specialty.
Sure.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So you do that in India, and after that, you're good to go.
Wow.
Yeah, as a family medicine doc.
Okay.
Yep.
So what happens if you decide you want to come to the U.S. for residency?
Yep. So if you want to come to the US for residency, you need to be what is called ECFMG certified.
Okay.
And what that means is you've taken and passed step 1, step 2 CK, step 2 CS, and in addition, your degree from India has been verified by ECFMG, which is the Educational Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates. You know, that's the regulatory authority that regulates international graduates in America.
Okay.
So you need, the first step is to get ECFMG certified, and then you're good to apply for residency.
Okay. And so step 1, step 2 CK, and step 2 CS, those are the 3 big board exams that we in America take in medical school. And so you don't take those as part of your Indian medical education. So you would have to take those separately.
Exactly. So some students will take those during their medical school years if they've thought forward that much and if they know they want to move to America for their residency training. But a lot of people end up taking these steps in their intern year, you know, internship that we talked about, or they might end up taking some time off after medical school just so that they can clear these exams.
Okay, so maybe time off, maybe you can take it however you want to, but you have to take these 3 exams, and that's going to take a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
I mean, many months. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like it would take a whole year to take all 3 of those tests, or at least 6 months.
Yeah, so let me tell you what my timeline was.
Yeah.
Okay, that might help.
That'd be good.
And we'll touch on other things that are important as well in this timeline.
Perfect.
So I figured out that I wanted to move here for residency just at the start of my intern year.
Okay, so
Okay.
after medical school was pretty much over.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then I ended up taking my step 1 kind of in the middle of my intern year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then immediately after my intern year, I came here for, I had a few months left to graduate. So I came here and I did some visiting student rotations.
Some away rotations.
Some away rotations,
Okay,
exactly.
okay.
And immediately after those away rotations, I took my step 2 CK, step 2 CS, and then applied for residency
Okay.
the same year. So a lot of people end up doing something
Wow.
similar, taking 1 step during your internship and then doing a couple of steps after that.
Mhm.
Or if you have time during internship, you can just take everything during internship.
Sure.
But it does take a few months to prepare.
Yeah, and you have to take step 2 CS in the US.
That's exactly right. So step 1 and step 2 CK you can take in India. It's available in many different countries. But
Okay.
CS you can only take in the 5 centers in America.
Right, yeah. So that's, I took it in Atlanta, you can take it in like LA or Chicago, but you can't, there's only a couple places where you can take it.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. And so what about doing these away rotations as a visiting student? Was that hard? How do you even go about doing that?
Yeah, so I would say that's a crucial part of applying for
Okay.
residency training.
Mhm.
I think that can really strengthen an international medical graduate's application.
Sure.
And the reason for that is, you might have your MSP and letters of recommendation from back home,
Mhm.
but the physicians here don't know, physicians
Right.
back home.
Right.
So, and the system is very different as well. So you might be thriving and doing very well as a medical student in India,
Yeah.
but there's no guarantee that you're going to adapt well to the medical
Mhm.
system here. So if you do months as a visiting student here, they know that you've been through the system, they know that you've adapted to it, so it makes
Right.
you a more attractive candidate overall.
Okay.
So the issue is you can only do that when you're a medical student. So it's good to think ahead and plan for it and try and get that done when you're in medical school. Because after you're done with medical school, then you're not a student anymore. Then you can only do what we call observerships. You can't do visiting rotations anymore.
That's a really good thing to know.
Yep. So it needs a lot of planning.
Wow.
Yep. The way you go about it is you just look up different universities
Mhm.
and just Google different universities and look up visiting student requirements, and a lot of the universities will have on their websites what the requirements are and so on.
Okay.
Some of them will need you to take step 1, some of them might need you to take TOEFL, which is a test of English as a foreign language. It's
Oh,
a
sure.
English proficiency kind
Uh-huh.
of thing. So they might have you take those tests, and they usually have you submit like a paper application.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it expensive? Because one of my best girlfriends went to University of Sydney. She's an American citizen,
Uh-huh.
and we did a video a while ago about her experience, and she said it's very expensive doing away rotations in the
Yeah.
U.S.
So it is kind of expensive, coming from India, things cost
Mhm.
more here overall. I would say a lot of programs will charge how much they would charge their medical students in terms of tuition fees.
Okay. Okay.
So you basically pay tuition free for that month.
Uh-huh.
And then you also have to take care of your own, transportation, living costs,
Right.
food costs, all of that. So it
Wow.
does end up being kind of expensive
Yeah.
at times. But there are some places that, don't charge you any tuition fee. So it's nice if you can get into those instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of differs between different places.
Exactly.
But it still sounds like it requires a lot of foresight and planning
Yep.
and figuring out how you're going to make it all work.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then the visiting student experience itself is great. It really sets you up for knowing the American medical system well.
Sure.
So it's tough to get used to initially,
Yeah,
but
I
then
bet.
you develop those skills and you get used to it.
Okay.
It's great. Yeah.
Okay. And then when it comes time to apply for residency,
Uh-huh.
is it more difficult being a foreign medical grad? Is it harder for you to match? What did you experience?
Yeah. So I would say it's definitely more difficult to match as a foreign medical graduate,
Uh-huh.
especially in competitive specialties such as
Right.
ophthalmology,
Mhm.
surgical specialties, radiology. Those are pretty difficult fields to get into.
Okay.
It is easier to get into fields such as internal medicine, pediatrics, and
Okay.
family practice. but it's still more difficult than what it would be for an American graduate to get in. Yeah, so that's why you have to set yourself up for success and make sure that you've done these things beforehand to make yourself an attractive candidate. So the main things to focus on are the visiting rotations, making sure that you apply on time. You know, on the first day of applications, you should be CFMP certified and should be ready to apply. The other thing is really focusing on the steps, because step scores do matter a lot for foreign graduates. Maybe not as much for American grads, but they do matter for foreign grads.
That's good to know.
The last one is kind of a non-modifiable thing. It depends on what your visa status is, whether you need a visa or not, or a lot of foreign graduates already have American citizenship or green cards. That makes it easier.
Okay.
Those would be the main things to focus on.
Okay, really good. And then after you're in residency, say you match and everything's great, you know, you came here to Mayo for internal medicine residency. Are there still different things as a foreign medical grad, or is it kind of, you know, you're done? And
I think the playing field becomes a lot more level after you're into the system. So as someone who's done residency here, you're pretty much on an even footing, I would say. Apart from the visa factor, you know, there are some places that just don't want to sponsor specific sort of visas. Apart from that, you're looked at as the same applicant pretty much as an American graduate. So the playing field does become a lot more level.
That's really good to know. I think you've told us, you know, wonderful things that I don't know. It's really good for me to learn this because I don't know these things. Great advice about planning early, really focusing on the away rotations and being a visiting student if you're interested in coming here for residency, studying hard for step 1 and step 2 because those board scores matter, and you know, getting your application in early. Kind of, you really have to be on the ball. This is a lot.
It is a lot. And you have to be on the ball, but it's worth it. Like, training here is great. So it's pretty worth it.
Good. What advice do you have to medical students out there from other countries who are interested in coming to the U.S.? What do you wish you would have known, or what words of encouragement do you have for people going through this kind of arduous process?
So with planning and with hard work, you should be able to match here for residency. All you need to do is have that commitment and have that motivation from within. Work hard, get everything planned out, and get everything done beforehand. The main thing I wish I had known is about the visiting rotations. I could have worked on them a lot earlier in medical school had I known that it was as important. It kind of ended up being like a last minute thing for me. So so if I knew about that before, I'd definitely work on it a lot more.
But it all worked out.
All worked out,
Excellent. All right. Well, can you think of anything else we should tell everybody?
So I'm sure people will have more questions about being a foreign medical graduate as well as cardiology. So if they send you a list of questions, I'm happy to do like a follow-up video. We can talk about, like, you know, specific questions if they come up.
Perfect. So any questions you have, always leave your comments. We love hearing from you. And then you can always email me. We're doing these Monday videos, so maybe we'll pick some of your questions and do a follow-up video. Yeah, you can reach us on Instagram, Twitter, my blog, AndreaTully.com, and I'll post some of your information, or if you have a blog or things like that, so look under the information for this video. And thank you so much. I really think this is going to help lots of people. It's wonderful.
It's great. I really hope it does. Thanks for having me on the blog. It was great fun.
Good, absolutely. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.